Howdy folks, my name is Howdy, and today we will be unboxing and reviewing the Mandalorian Starfighter set number 75316. This beauty from 2021 came out for ages 9 and up with 544 pieces. Also coming with quite a nice minifigure selection, got that Gar Saxon, the Bo-Katan Kryze, and the Mandalorian Loyalist to boot. What a beautiful lineup. The back of the box here showcases a few of the set's play features, the main feature being that the fuselage and the wings can spin independently of one another. And if you know me, you know I'm a fan of anything that spins. It is a good trick after all. 2 people can actually fit in the cockpit, which I found quite surprising. And no surprise here, the year is 2021, you got the stud shooters front and center. But yeah, let's get into it and open this bad boy up, not with the thumb tabs though, I'm not a monster. So let's get started. I built this gentleman on stream, so here's a few highlights from that. There's like hot glue, little blobs of hot glue keeping this together. There's no tape seals. That would be easier for me. Always cut towards your other hand. This is very important. Very important detail about opening a Lego set. I cut my finger on stream? Oh yeah. Oh no, sticker sheet, please. There's a crease in the sticker sheet. It's not too bad. You can see the corner of this one peeling up a little bit. That's not good. I don't think it's going to affect any stickers, but... This overall was a very nice build experience. I really enjoy learning about the build techniques used to achieve all the angles and the play features and the mechanisms and stuff. I did live stream this build process on the channel, which was a ton of fun, but admittedly I was very distracted, so this build ended up taking me like 3 hours or something. I had a moment of confusion or two regarding how the wings are supposed to attach to the body, but overall, very smooth build experience and no real complaints. First fig we're taking a look at, the Mandalorian Loyalist, looking great. This gentleman goes for about $9 in new condition. The printing all looks great. I really like the war paint-esque details on his helmet. I think that looks really cool. The torso looks pretty good. Very nice continual prints from that torso piece down to the waist. Love that. And very detailed legs. Looks great. The only way that really gets better is if they were dual molded, but can't expect too much of that in LEGO Star Wars. Unfortunately though, this guy has no face print, which doesn't bother me personally that much. I do find it very charmingly reminiscent of the older Clone and Stormtrooper styles of the early 2000s. Nice looking back print. Not that it matters that much. It's going to be covered up by a jetpack 90% of the time anyway, but it's nice that it's there. Up next, we got Lady Bo-Katan herself in this wonderful shining armor. That printing is just incredible. Would have been nice to get some of that shiny printing on the Mandalorian Loyalist, but this does help her stand out and feel more special, so that's fine. She also goes for about $9 in new condition, and she is just covered from head to toe in beautiful printing. Literally, I find the helmet print to be quite fantastic. I love those almost owl-like eyes above the visor. Almost reminds me of like a butterfly's camouflage. I would not want to run into that on the battlefield. See, everything here is fine, and I like it, but my problem lies with the other accessory that they give you for this figure. Oh my gosh. Maybe this hairpiece would fly in like a Lego Friends set or something, but man, she looks like she's about to complain to several different managers at once. And what is that? How does her hair have a freaking like double chin? Whatever. Decapitating her and removing her jetpack will reveal a very nice backprint, much shinier than that of the Loyalist once again. Now, this is still brilliant, but I like this. Now, unfortunately, this Bo-Katan figure does not come in the set. This one came in the Spider Tank set 2 years later in 2023, and in only 2 years, Bo-Katan had one of the most legendary glow-ups that LEGO Star Wars has ever seen. That hairpiece is just looking glorious. Those nice and shiny prints are making their return with even more details this time, and that original darker blue color has now been replaced with more of a turquoise. I think this looks wonderful, especially with the added arm prints. The face print also received an update to, I suppose, show some aging. You lost your freckles, which sucks, but hey, you have a forward and backslash on your cheeks now, so that's cool. Of course, decapitating this figure as well, removing the jetpack will reveal a nice backprint with a little more detail than what we've seen prior. I'm afraid I'm not a huge fan of the helmet of this newer figure though. I don't know if it's a problem with my helmet specifically. It looks like it's almost misprinted to be shifted down a little too far. Also, those owl-like eyes above the visor are a little like faded and washed. They're just barely darker than the rest of the white print on the helmet. I think there's definitely a case to be made in favor of either of these helmets. It's kind of just up to you. But let's be honest, who cares about this lady? I know why you're here. I care about you, Bo-Katan. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And there he is, that immaculate Gar Saxon figure. Oh my goodness, oh my damn. In new condition, he goes for over $35, which is over half the set's original retail value, and it's only 4 years old. And though I'm not a huge fan of the red and black color scheme, you know, I think it's kind of trying too hard to be cool and edgy at times, I have to admit, these are some of the best looking prints I have ever seen on a minifigure. He's got a printed waist cape down there on his legs, which I do like. I just really wish it wrapped all the way around his legs instead of just being on the front. Now, I don't need physical waist capes or else I'm gonna die, but if you're gonna print them, at least print them all the way around. It's the least you can do. This helmet mold was made specifically for him. It looks fantastic. Removing it, you will see his nice face print. Now, sadly, he does not come with a hairpiece, though I'm sure that would look fabulous. You know, LEGO, if you want to put this guy in a set next year, take some notes. He's looking quite stubbled, a little war-torn, if you will. Maybe a little depression going on. Slap a goatee, he might look a little Walter White-ish. And decapitate him really quick. yeah. And we'll reveal his very nice back print, looking good. Now, not only is our boy outnumbered, but he's also outgunned. The instructions do specify to only give Gar Saxon 1 blaster, while everyone else got 2. But that's okay, buddy. You can take him, right? Right? And while this is a great minifig lineup, I can't help but be a little bit ungrateful. You know, battle pack, 20 bucks, you get 4. This set, 60 bucks, you get 3. I think if Gar Saxon got a buddy to help him in the fight, that would have been awesome. But considering the quality of what we did get, I can't complain. Oh my goodness, gorgeous. Getting into the ship now, I can't think of another starfighter more fittingly imposing for a Mandalorian warrior. First things first, I think this ship passes the source material test. It looks pretty accurate to me, though most of the images I found leaned a little more towards a primarily gray color scheme, and this definitely has more blue, but that's no problem for me. I'm all for more colors in my starfighters. Now, this is the Gauntlet class Mandalorian Starfighter, not to be confused with the Fang Fighter, and as far as I can tell for that class of starfighter, this cockpit is supposed to be situated quite a bit farther back on the fuselage. Now, this panel where I think it should be looks like the kind of thing you can remove to reveal some kind of storage space, but you cannot. I don't know if it's just me, but I do find the layering and the color blocking on these wings, particularly in the back, to be quite awkward and messy looking. I feel like this could be cleaned up pretty easily, but overall, I'd say it still looks pretty good. And that cockpit is just really spacious, as you can see. Let's get that Loyalist in there and the Bo-Katan, close that up. And as you can see, oh, sorry, I guess they're a little shy. It's okay, you can come out. They're not gonna bite you. They do fit pretty snug in there, despite having no studs to actually connect to. They're just sitting on tiles. And the cockpit isn't really flush with anything. You know, when you close it, there's some pretty massive gaps underneath the windscreen, so have fun getting sucked out into the vacuum of space, I guess. Play feature-wise, it's quite nice. You got a couple of stud shooters on either side of the cockpit. Also, a spring-loaded shooter on the back of each wing. Double threat. I never even bother loading the stud shooters and spring-loaded shooters. I know I'm gonna fire it off by accident, and it's gonna land in freaking Wyoming, and I can't go back there. Not again, dude. And here we have the nice little tail gun. This ship in universe is supposed to be far bigger. Obviously, it's been scaled down, but this can sort of spin, but as you can see, it kind of juts into that top piece there. You see that? Not a big deal, but it does do that on the bottom side as well. It just seems like a very avoidable imperfection. Definitely not as smooth as I would have hoped, but speaking of smooth rotations, the main play function, and my personal favorite play function, would be that the cockpit and the wings can spin independently of one another. Oh, I love it. It's kind of difficult to find a comfortable place to hold it to demonstrate that, but the underside of the wings is definitely not quite as pretty, but definitely still has some interesting layering going on. I think the box art angle had a good thing going. I think the best place for the wings to be is kind of like at this diagonal angle. It's very dynamic looking. Now, I'm tempted to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I messed something up in the build process, but where this cockpit attaches to the rest of the fuselage is actually a ball joint connection, and one of those big ones you would find on Bionicles and such. And it's just really wobbly, like a tooth that's about to come out. It's a little ridiculous. Now, it's still pretty sturdy in there. If you give it a pull, it's not going to come out, but it is an uncomfortable amount of movement. But that's not even my least favorite part of this whole cockpit piece here. My least favorite part... Oh, there goes the spring-loaded shooter, off to Wyoming again. But there's no landing gear, right? You know, you'd expect a starship to land kind of flat, but nope. Not this one. Here, you can go just join your brother in Wyoming. There we go. Now, circling back to my issues with the layering and the plates on top, I like all the different colors and sloped angles that they're using, but color-wise, I think they kind of mess things up at the end here. I think this would look better if I actually remove these little pieces here. I don't know, I think that looks way better. I'll let you guys be the judge, you know, between this or that. And I gotta say, I'm an absolute sucker for sloped pieces like this that are put on kind of the underbellies of ships using some snot techniques. I love that. I find that super cool. Also, these engines back here looking pretty nice. The thrust is kind of captured with that nice yellow, gives it a nice contrast against the blue. And the second, I guess, primary play feature is that these wings can actually pivot upwards from this joint piece right here. Oh, I love that piece. It's so cool. As you can see, it's a bit of a rigid and staggered movement, not very smooth, but I think that's okay. And this, I suppose, is like its cannon landing position, which I think looks a little less awkward without that landing gear than if the wings were folded down. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with how sturdy this model is, and you can hold it pretty much anywhere without it breaking, but you're not gonna feel good about where you're holding it. You know, it's always gonna feel wobbly and like it's about to come apart. Fairly small sticker sheet for the set, and the majority of them do look pretty good. This one though, I don't know if you can tell, but the gray of the sticker does not at all match the gray color of the brick that it's on, which does look pretty bad. It's not like a huge deal breaker though. I think this set is 100% worth the pickup if you can maybe find it new in the $70 to $80 range. I had a wonderful experience with this and I do recommend it. But yeah, that is going to do it for this LEGO Star Wars set review. If you guys enjoyed this, please let me know by leaving a comment or a like. And in the meantime, if you're looking for some more Brickity Split content, I'll put a couple videos up here in the corners that you may enjoy. Once again, I am Howdy. This has been Brickity Split. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and take it easy.